The crisp morning air crackled with an electric tension, the stakes impossibly high as Ron Wesley, the formidable CEO of Wesley Industries, entered the grand conference room with an air of undeniable authority. His mere presence demanded an instant, respectful hush, an eerie silence that fell over the group of hopeful clients and business associates. The way he carried himself, his upright posture, and the intense sharpness of his gaze cast a powerful spell of both reverence and intimidation over everyone present. If you are not subscribed, I recommend you subscribe and activate the bell so you don't miss any videos. With a confident stride, Ron moved to the head of the gleaming mahogany table, his movements a masterclass in controlled power. He took his seat, his eyes scanning the room with a detached, almost regal, indifference. Every chair was occupied by representatives from a plethora of firms, each one fervently hoping to secure a profitable alliance with one of the city's most influential trading empires. He could feel the weight of their desperate, hopeful stares, each pair of eyes silently pleading for his favor. This unspoken recognition of his supreme authority swelled his pride, feeding his sense of dominance and allowing him to bask in the overwhelming influence he effortlessly wielded over the assembly. As his piercing blue eyes swept across the room, they suddenly fixated on an individual who seemed startlingly out of place to him. A few seats away, a young black woman sat with an air of composed readiness, her notebook open and her pen poised for action. Her attire was impeccable, exuding a sharp, professional aura, and her demeanor was calm yet assertive. However, Ron's brow furrowed in unmistakable displeasure, not because of her gender or youth, but solely due to the fact that she was the only black person present. Who permitted her entry? His thoughts grew darker, tinged with a latent bias. He couldn't recall ever seeing her before, and her presence in such a high-stakes meeting seemed to him a glaring mistake, a profound oversight. The sight of her ignited an unsettling mix of confusion and indignation within him, challenging his deeply ingrained perceptions of who should occupy spaces of power and influence. As the meeting commenced, Ron seized control, his voice resonating off the high ceilings with a tone of pompous certainty. His words dripped with arrogance, each sentence crafted to belittle those around him and assert his dominance. Ladies and gentlemen, let's not squander precious time. I trust you all grasp the unparalleled advantages my company provides. We are not merely leaders, we are trailblazers in the trading industry, Ron proclaimed, his voice smooth yet dismissive. The room listened, some nodded in agreement while others exchanged uneasy glances. Anna Gellert, the young analyst, sat silently observing, her expression inscrutable. She had encountered arrogance before, but never as blatant as this. Ron's demeanor was not just confident, it was condescending to an almost offensive degree. As the meeting wore on, Ron dismissed questions with a casual wave of his hand, offering vague answers meant more to flaunt his supposed brilliance than to inform his audience. Anna felt a growing sense of unease as she listened to Ron's shallow responses, her discomfort slowly morphing into irritation. Her mind raced as she sifted through Ron's statements, searching for substance but finding only hollow arrogance. Despite her rising annoyance, she reminded herself of the meeting's significance. Her company needed this deal, and she was their representative. As the meeting progressed, Ron's condescension became more blatant, his dismissive attitude palpable. Each wave of his hand and vague response served only to highlight his perceived superiority, leaving Anna increasingly frustrated. She could see the discomfort in her colleagues' faces, the uneasy glances exchanged around the room. Yet, despite the growing tension, Anna remained composed, her exterior calm masking the storm of irritation brewing within her. She knew the importance of this deal and the role she had to play in securing it. Her company's future depended on it, and she would not let Ron's arrogance derail their chances. Gathering her courage, she cleared her throat, prepared to challenge Ron on critical points for her firm's interests. "Mr. Wesley, if I may," Anna began, her voice steady despite the flutter of nerves within her. Your current trading model has shown impressive results in the past. However, looking forward, how sustainable do you believe it is in the rapidly changing market of the next few years?" The room fell silent, heads turning towards Anna, surprised by her audacity to directly question Ron Wesley. Ron's face twisted into a mask of disbelief and irritation. His eyes, once cold, now burned with something darker. "And you are?" he asked with a disdainful smirk, making no effort to conceal his annoyance. "Anna Gellert, an analyst with Anna," started, but Ron cut her off with a chuckle. "An analyst," he echoed, the word dripping with mockery. "Tell me, Ms. Gellert, from which black community college did you graduate that makes you think you can question the sustainability of a model that has not only been proven but has excelled for years?" The underlying racism in his question hung heavy in the air. Anna felt a flush of heat rise to her cheeks, her heart pounding loudly in her chest. She was momentarily stunned, but quickly regained her composure. Determined not to let Ron's derogatory comment derail her, Anna took a deep breath, her voice unwavering as she replied, "I graduated from Harvard, Mr. Wesley, with honors. My question stands. How do you plan to adapt your successful model to ensure it remains viable in a market that is evolving at an unprecedented pace?" The room remained silent, the tension palpable as everyone awaited Ron's response. Anna's heart raced, but she stood her ground, refusing to be intimidated by his arrogance or his prejudiced insinuations. "I graduated from the University of Chicago, Mr. Wesley," Anna replied, her voice unwavering, striving to steer the conversation back to professionalism. Ron scoffed, shaking his head as he glanced around the room, seeking an audience for his performance. "University of Chicago? Well, folks, it seems even the best schools are lowering their standards." Nervous laughter rippled through the room, light yet enough to deepen the flush on Anna's cheeks. She pressed her lips together, forcing herself to remain calm in the face of blatant disrespect and racism. As the meeting dragged on, Ron's jibes became increasingly pointed and personal. When Anna attempted to redirect the discussion to financial specifics, Ron interrupted her sharply. "Ms. Gellert, please, let's not embarrass yourself further. Your input here is as unnecessary as it is uninformed." He snapped, his voice dripping with condescension. Anna took a deep breath, her hands clenched tightly under the table. She scanned the room, searching for an ally, but found none. Everyone seemed either amused or indifferent, unwilling to challenge the powerful Ron Wesley. The air in the room grew heavier with each passing minute, the tension thick and oppressive. Anna felt a burning sense of frustration and injustice, her mind racing to find a way to cut through Ron's hostility. She knew that her firm's future depended on this meeting, and despite the blatant bigotry she faced, she was determined not to back down. "Mr. Wesley," Anna began again, her voice steady but firm. "Regardless of your personal views, I am here to discuss business. My question about the sustainability of your trading model is valid and critical for the future of our partnership. Dismissing it only undermines the potential for mutual growth." Ron's eyes narrowed, but he didn't interrupt this time. The room fell into a tense silence, the air crackling with the unspoken challenge hanging between them. Anna's heart pounded, but she held her ground, refusing to be silenced by his arrogance and prejudice. She was there to represent her firm, and she would not let his condescension diminish her voice or her resolve. Feeling isolated but not defeated, Anna made one last attempt to contribute to the discussion, but Ron was relentless. "Really, Ms. Gellert, look around you. Do you see anyone else here who looks like you? No? Then perhaps it's best if you refrain from speaking out of turn." Ron's words were a verbal slap, intended to humiliate her into silence. That was the final straw for Anna. She stood up, her chair scraping loudly against the floor. The room's eyes were all on her, some wide with shock, others hidden behind hands and whispers. "Thank you for your time, Mr. Wesley," and everyone, Anna said, her voice loud and clear. every ounce of her being vibrating with a mixture of fury and dignity. It's clear that this isn't the right fit for our company. With that, she gathered her materials and walked out of the room, her head held high despite the shaking of her hands. She could feel Ron's eyes on her back, his disdain palpable, but she didn't look back. She didn't need to see his smirk to know it was there. As the door closed behind her, the room remained silent, the echo of her departure hanging heavy in the air. Ron leaned back in his chair, satisfied with himself, unaware that the real consequences of his actions were yet to unfold. Despite the emotional turmoil churning inside her, Anna felt a surge of empowerment as she exited the building. She had stood up for herself and refused to let Ron's bigotry and condescension diminish her worth or her company's values. As she walked away, she resolved to take this experience as a lesson in resilience and strength. She knew that the true measure of success was not in securing every deal, but in maintaining integrity and self-respect. Ron's arrogance might have won the battle in the boardroom, but Anna was determined to win the war for equality and professionalism in the industry. As the echoes of the meeting faded away, Ron Wesley was blissfully unaware that a junior analyst from another company had recorded his entire furious rant against Anna Gellert. Initially shared within a private group as a cautionary example of poor leadership, the video soon leaked and exploded across social media like wildfire. The footage vividly captured Ron's harsh, degrading comments and arrogant attitude, serving as a stark illustration of the worst forms of corporate racism and sexism. By the following morning, the video had permeated every corner of the internet, igniting an avalanche of public outrage. Thousands of comments flooded in, condemning Ron's reprehensible behavior and demanding swift and severe consequences. Boycott Wesley Industries echoed the collective cry of indignation across the web, a relentless wave of shared disdain that could not be ignored. At Wesley Industries, the morning was a whirlwind of chaos. Ron entered his office only to find his inbox deluged with emails and his phone ringing off the hook. His assistant, visibly frazzled, handed him a printout of the trending topics on social media, his name blazoned at the very top. "Sir, this is extremely serious. We need to act immediately," she urged, her voice trembling with urgency. Ron scanned the headlines, his face paling with each passing second. "It's just a misunderstanding. It will pass," he muttered, more to himself than to her. Yet deep down, he felt the heavy weight of the unfolding catastrophe. Just as he began to gather his thoughts, Ron's phone rang, displaying the name Mac Gellert. A wave of dread washed over him. Mac wasn't merely a powerful figure in the industry, he was also Anna's father, the very person Ron had just belittled. The moment Ron picked up, Mac's voice thundered through the line, vibrating with fury. "Ron, I saw the video. How dare you speak to anyone like that, especially my daughter?" Ron's voice quivered as he tried to explain. "Mac, wait, it's not what it seems. We were only..." But Mac interjected, his voice a cold, cutting blade. "Enough, Ron. That video told me everything. You publicly humiliated my daughter. You're a disgrace to this profession." "Mac, I beg you, let's discuss this. We can fix it," Ron pleaded, desperation creeping into his tone. "There's nothing to fix. I'm withdrawing all my investments from your firm, and our partnership. Consider it terminated. It's over," Mac declared with an air of finality. The call ended abruptly, leaving Ron in a state of stunned silence. His worst nightmare was coming to life. Losing Mac Gellert's support wasn't just a financial catastrophe, it was a profound blow to his reputation, a public scandal that threatened to obliterate everything he had built. As the hours slipped by, the situation at Wesley Industries grew increasingly dire. One by one, partners and clients distanced themselves, severing ties with a company now tainted by scandal. Frantic calls were made, binding contracts were abruptly dissolved, and by the week's end, Ron's once flourishing empire stood at the precipice of collapse. Employees, gripped by mounting anxiety, whispered in hushed tones about their uncertain futures, nervously updating their resumes in a bid for security. Senior managers huddled in urgent crisis meetings, desperately strategizing amidst a shrinking pool of options. In the midst of this turmoil, Ron was driven by a singular, desperate hope to make amends. Consumed with guilt and a fierce need to rectify his wrongs, he decided to reach out to Anna. He hoped that an apology might somehow soften the blow of the damage he had inflicted. With a trembling hand, he dialed her number. Each ring echoed in his ears like a relentless countdown, a reminder of how close he was to the edge of disaster. The waiting felt interminable, every second heavy with the weight of his actions and their devastating consequences. "I saw your apology attempts online," Anna interrupted coldly. "They seemed as hollow as your respect in that meeting. Why are you really calling?" Ron sighed, the weight of his situation pressing down on him. "I'm truly sorry, Anna. I didn't realize the impact of my words. I've lost almost everything. I need you to understand that I regret what I said." Anna's response was measured and firm. "Your regret seems to coincide quite conveniently with your losses, Ron. It's not my forgiveness you need, it's a change in how you view and treat people. That's your path to repair, not my absolution." With a final solemn word, Anna ended the call, leaving Ron to grapple with the piercing reality of her message. Sitting in his darkening office, he replayed the meeting over and over in his mind. Every word he had once wielded with such arrogance now returned to haunt him, underscoring the catastrophic consequences of his actions as his empire crumbled around him. The viral video had not only captured his downfall, it had accelerated it, serving as an unexpected catalyst for a reckoning he had never anticipated. As the dust settled on the ruins of Wesley Industries, Ron Wesley stood alone amidst the wreckage of his once mighty empire. The headquarters, which had once bustled with activity and ambition, now echoed with an eerie silence. The hallways, previously filled with the sounds of productivity and success, now reverberated only with the footsteps of a few remaining employees, somberly packing up their lives and careers. Ron had witnessed the disintegration of his life's work, a downfall brought on by his own hubris. The loss he faced was not merely financial, it was deeply personal and profoundly humbling. In the solitude of his empty office, surrounded by the remnants of what once was, Ron reflected on the catastrophic series of events that had unfolded. The viral video had not only obliterated his professional life, but had also forced him to confront the harsh truths about himself. His initial reaction of anger and denial had gradually given way to a profound sense of remorse. He realized that the path to any form of recovery required a fundamental change, not only to salvage what remained of his career, but to transform himself into a better human being. As he sat there, enveloped in the stark silence, Ron understood that redemption would not come easily. The journey ahead would be arduous and filled with challenges, but he knew it was a necessary path. To rebuild, he would need to confront his flaws, seek forgiveness, and learn the values of humility and empathy. Only then could he hope to rise from the ashes of his former empire and rebuild a life and career grounded in genuine integrity and respect for others. Ron began attending workshops on diversity, equity, and inclusion. He immersed himself in extensive reading on racial biases and the importance of empathy in leadership. Each seminar delivered a blow to his old ego, and each book served as a mirror reflecting his past failings. The process was undeniably painful, but with the pain came growth. Determined to make amends, Ron started volunteering at nonprofits focused on racial justice, contributing positively to communities he had once looked down upon. His transformation was gradual but profound. Every workshop he attended chipped away at his arrogance, every book he read expanded his understanding, and every volunteer opportunity deepened his sense of purpose. The experience was humbling, forcing him to confront the prejudices and blind spots that had previously shaped his worldview. One rainy Thursday afternoon, as Ron was helping to organize a fundraiser for a local charity, he received an unexpected call from Anna Gellert. The sound of her voice instantly brought back memories of their last conversation, the harsh truths she had shared, and the journey of self-discovery he had embarked upon since then. Anna began, her tone softer yet filled with a mix of curiosity and cautious optimism. "I've been hearing about the work you've been doing lately. It's quite a shift from where you were." Ron paused, the significance of her words sinking in. "Yes, Anna, it's been a challenging journey, but one I needed to undertake. I've realized how much I have to learn and how important it is to truly understand and support those around me." There was a brief silence before Anna spoke again, this time with a note of approval. "I'm glad to hear that, Ron. True change is never easy, but it's always worth it. Keep at it. The impact you're making now matters." As he hung up the phone, Ron felt a sense of validation. The road to redemption was long, but with each step, he was becoming a better leader and a more compassionate person. The old Ron, driven by ego and blind ambition, was slowly being replaced by someone who understood the value of empathy, diversity, and genuine human connection. The journey had been fraught with challenges, but as Ron stood there in the rain, helping to organize the fundraiser, he felt a deep sense of purpose. He knew that every moment of growth, every act of kindness, and every effort to support others was a step towards rebuilding not just his career, but his entire life. And in that moment he realized that the path he was on, though difficult, was undeniably the right one. Ron had witnessed the disintegration of his life's work, a downfall brought on by his own hubris. The loss he faced was not merely financial, it was deeply personal and profoundly humbling. In the solitude of his empty office, surrounded by the remnants of what once was, Ron reflected on the catastrophic series of events that had unfolded. The viral video had not only obliterated his professional life, but it also forced him to confront the harsh truths about himself. His initial reaction of anger and denial had gradually given way to a profound sense of remorse. He realized that the path to any form of recovery required a fundamental change, not only to salvage what remained of his career, but to transform himself into a better human being. As he sat there, enveloped in the stark silence, Ron understood that redemption would not come easily. The journey ahead would be arduous and filled with challenges, but he knew it was a necessary path. To rebuild, he would need to confront his flaws, seek forgiveness, and learn the values of humility and empathy. Only then could he hope to rise from the ashes of his former empire and rebuild a life and career grounded in genuine integrity and respect for others. Ron began attending workshops on diversity, equity, and inclusion. He immersed himself in extensive reading on racial biases and the importance of empathy in leadership. Each seminar delivered a blow to his old ego, and each book served as a mirror reflecting his past failings. The process was undeniably painful, but with the pain came growth. Determined to make amends, Ron started volunteering at nonprofits focused on racial justice, contributing positively to communities he had once looked down upon. His transformation was gradual but profound. Every workshop he attended chipped away at his arrogance, every book he read expanded his understanding, and every volunteer opportunity deepened his sense of purpose. The experience was humbling, forcing him to confront the prejudices and blind spots that had previously shaped his worldview. One rainy Thursday afternoon, as Ron was helping to organize a fundraiser for a local charity, he received an unexpected call from Anna Gellert. The sound of her voice instantly brought back memories of their last conversation, the harsh truths she had shared, and the journey of self-discovery he had embarked upon since then. Anna began, her tone softer yet filled with a mix of curiosity and cautious optimism. "I've been hearing about the work you've been doing lately. It's quite a shift from where you were." Ron paused, the significance of her words sinking in. "Yes, Anna. It's been a challenging journey, but one I needed to undertake. I've realized how much I have to learn and how important it is to truly understand and support those around me." There was a brief silence before Anna spoke again, this time with a note of approval. "I'm glad to hear that, Ron. True change is never easy, but it's always worth it. Keep at it. The impact you're making now matters." As he hung up the phone, Ron felt a sense of validation. The road to redemption was long, but with each step he was becoming a better leader and a more compassionate person. The old Ron, driven by ego and blind ambition, was slowly being replaced by someone who understood the value of empathy, diversity, and genuine human connection. The journey had been fraught with challenges, but as Ron stood there in the rain, helping to organize the fundraiser, he felt a deep sense of purpose. He knew that every moment of growth, every act of kindness, and every effort to support others was a step towards rebuilding not just his career, but his entire life. And in that moment he realized that the path he was on, though difficult, was undeniably the right one. He hesitated before answering, memories of their last conversation flooding back, filled with her cold dismissal and his desperate apologies. Taking a deep breath, he picked up the call. "Anna," he greeted cautiously. Anna's voice was calm, composed, devoid of the harshness he remembered. "I've been following your efforts. It seems you're genuinely trying to change." Ron's heart quickened, a mix of hope and apprehension swirling within him. "Yes, I am. I've learned a lot, Anna. I am truly sorry for everything," he confessed, his voice carrying the weight of his remorse. "I know," she replied, her tone softening, "and I appreciate your apologies. But more so, I respect the actions you've taken since. It's not just about saying sorry, it's about making changes." Ron felt a wave of relief wash over him. "Thank you, Anna. Your words mean a lot to me. I've realized that true growth requires more than just acknowledgement, it demands real, tangible actions." Anna paused, allowing his words to settle. "That's true, Ron. And from what I've seen, you're on the right path. It's a difficult journey, but your efforts show a commitment to becoming a better person." Ron nodded, even though she couldn't see him. "It's been a challenging process, but necessary. Volunteering, attending workshops, reading each step has taught me something valuable about empathy, leadership, and humanity." Anna's voice held a note of encouragement as she responded, "Keep going, Ron. Real change doesn't happen overnight, but your dedication is evident. Continue to put in the effort, and you'll see the impact you can make." As the call ended, Ron felt a renewed sense of purpose. The validation from Anna was not just a momentary relief, but a beacon guiding him forward. He knew that the journey ahead would still be fraught with challenges, but her acknowledgement gave him the strength to keep moving forward. Ron stood by the window, watching the rain as it pelted down, each drop a reminder of the cleansing process he was undergoing. He understood now that redemption was not a destination but a continuous journey, one that required constant reflection, effort, and growth. With each step he took, he was not only rebuilding his career but reshaping his entire life, striving to become the compassionate and genuine leader he had always aspired to be. Encouraged by her acknowledgement, Ron felt a glimmer of hope. "Thank you, Anna. That means a lot coming from you," he said earnestly. There was a brief pause before Anna continued, her voice steady and purposeful. "I'm calling because I have a proposal for you. My company is launching a new division aimed at fostering inclusivity in the business sector. We need someone who understands both the highs and lows of this industry. Someone who has first-hand experience with the kind of transformation we want to promote." Ron was stunned, his mind racing with the implications of her words. "Are you offering me a job?" he asked, scarcely able to believe what he was hearing. "Yes, I am," Anna confirmed, "but it won't be easy. You'll start from the ground up, no executive privileges. You'll need to prove yourself, not just to me or the company, but to yourself and everyone you'll work with." Accepting the offer would mean embracing humility and hard work, a stark contrast to the executive lifestyle he was accustomed to. Yet, as the reality of the opportunity sank in, Ron felt a surge of gratitude and determination. This was his chance to rebuild, to prove that he had truly changed. "I'll take it, and I'll give it my all. Anna." "Thank you for this chance," he responded, his voice filled with resolve. "You'll be accountable every step of the way," Anna warned. "This is about more than redemption, it's about transformation. We need to ensure that the change you're undergoing is genuine and lasting." Ron nodded, even though she couldn't see him. "I understand. I'm ready for the challenge," he said, feeling a renewed sense of purpose. As the call ended, Ron felt a mix of apprehension and excitement. He knew the road ahead would be tough, but he was ready to face it head-on. The offer from Anna was not just a job, it was an opportunity to continue his journey of growth and redemption in a meaningful way. He sat back, reflecting on how far he had come and the path that lay ahead. This new role would test his commitment and resilience, pushing him to apply everything he had learned about empathy, leadership, and inclusivity. It was a daunting prospect, but Ron was determined to succeed. With a deep breath, he looked out at the rain-soaked streets, feeling a sense of renewal. This was his chance to start over, to make a real difference, and to become the person he aspired to be. The journey was far from over, but for the first time in a long while, Ron felt truly hopeful about the future. Ron agreed wholeheartedly. "I understand, and I'm ready." The following weeks were a whirlwind of activity. Ron started his new position under the watchful eyes of skeptical colleagues who knew his past. Every day presented a new challenge, every task a lesson in humility. He attended every meeting with the eagerness of a novice, absorbing every piece of advice and criticism with gratitude. His efforts to transform were met with cautious optimism and gradually with acceptance. As Ron meticulously reconstructed his career from the very foundations, he embarked on an intense journey of personal growth and self-discovery. Each passing day saw the gradual erosion of his previous arrogance, replaced by a deep-seated reverence for diversity and an overwhelming gratitude for the gift of second chances. Anna closely monitored his progress, offering her invaluable advice while ensuring he had the autonomy to grow independently. Months later, during the annual company retreat, Anna found an opportune moment to speak privately with Ron. Seizing the chance, she confessed, "Ron, I had my reservations at the beginning. Betting on you was a significant risk," she admitted, her eyes reflecting a deep sense of earnestness. Her words carried the weight of her initial doubts and the journey they had undertaken together. Ron met her gaze with equal sincerity, his voice steady and heartfelt. "I understand, Anna. I owe you an immense debt of gratitude. You've not only guided me towards becoming a more effective leader, but also helped me grow into a more compassionate and genuine person." He expressed, his appreciation evident in his tone. Anna's smile radiated warmth and genuine pride, a testament to her belief in Ron's potential. "Continue putting in the effort, Ron. Keep demonstrating that genuine transformation is possible," she encouraged, her words filled with hope and faith in his ongoing journey. As Ron stood there, surrounded by colleagues who now admired him for his unwavering commitment and newfound humility, he felt a profound sense of redemption and purpose wash over him. This moment marked a significant milestone, not just in his professional journey, but in his entire life. He realized that his transformation symbolized the beginning of a new era, an era where he could make a meaningful, authentic, and positive impact on those around him. Reflecting on the path he had traveled, Ron acknowledged the challenges he had faced and the triumphs he had achieved. Each struggle and victory had shaped him, making every effort undeniably worthwhile. As he looked ahead, he felt a renewed sense of determination and optimism, knowing that his journey was far from over and that the future held endless possibilities for growth and impact. As Ron continues on his path to redemption, his story serves as a powerful reminder of the importance of humility, empathy, and the willingness to change. His journey from arrogance to understanding shows that true transformation is possible when we confront our flaws and commit to genuine growth. Now we want to hear from you. What have you learned from Ron's story so far? Take a moment to reflect and comment below on one thing you've learned and how you plan to bring it into practice in your own life. If you like this video, please leave your comment below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more inspiring stories and valuable life lessons.